Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. I hope your week is great. And even though it's a Friday and people talk about it being a weekend, but it's just a week. Another weekday that we look for good things to come. And in the company of good friends, it gets even better. Shane Nobi Edwards is in the studio. My good friend, good afternoon, man. Thanks for making that long journey from all the way in the east to come on down here. How are you, man? Good afternoon. All is well? Nobi, wake up.
Yeah, man, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. You'll be working too hard, man.
Yeah.
All right, so again, good afternoon. Yeah. Tell the politicians there just to chill for a second while you focus on what's going on.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Little loss. Yeah.
A little lost. Yeah. All right. So you want me to restart the show now? Because it's not live, you know. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming down, man. Being a part of our discussion today. And how's everything?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay.
So as I shared with you, we're going to have the excellent company as well at 1 p.m. of Miss Wendy Lejo. Okay. So Nobi on one side, Miss Wendy on the other, and together they'll give me good counsel. They'll inform and enlighten, and hopefully through the collective conversation.
I don't know about the counsel part of it.
Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that. It's all good, man. And it was a Bill Joel.
It's all opinions.
Yeah, Bill Joel talk about opinions, everybody got one, and advice is free, so I'll take it, whether I listen to it or not. Hopefully I have the good wisdom to know the difference, right?
Yeah.
But I must commend you at the outset, if you don't mind. Okay. Not just your consistent message about environmental awareness and preservation, the educational sort of pursuit, in a sense, that you have, not through your eco-rights tours and the others, but the knowledge that our environment is key. As a society, we need to be educated and informed about the resources we have, the importance of preserving and protecting those resources, but also promoting them in a way that we responsibly enjoy them now and for generations to come. You have, for years, privately shared that, and then thankfully, I appreciate you being a little bit more willing to publicly say so. And I know that in successive discussions over the last year, if not more, that you've been on with me consistently, you will talk about Collier's Pond. That's like, old people say, boy, he got something stuck in his craw. Yeah. You talked about, other places, whether, undeveloped places where there are substantial surrounding developments in the subdivisions, but even undeveloped places like Barker's, Barefoot Beach and the like. And now I'm seeing something happening through, I think, well, you tell me.
Well, it's you can go ahead too, but it seems to be the National Trust that's taken on the initiative to go out to the various. They said they're going to consult with the community in regards to areas that would be preserved, right, or for conservation purposes, which is a great thing. And I don't recall it being done before, but there are others that think that this has been done before. It should be an ongoing process every year, if you ask me, or every time a new government is elected. Yeah. That we identify these areas and try to keep them in the forefront of what we want to protect. I just have a keen interest in Collier's Pond because of seeing the sale value of it, and that it's supposed to be protected, my understanding, by an international body, but I just don't think that's enough for what we need in Cayman. I think the government need to take it with upon themselves to set aside these areas as preserved. I just I can't rest good thinking that you're saying an international body is protecting the Collier's Pond and we have to report to them. I feel that having local government control over those areas would be better.
All right. Nobody, we do have a caller online. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon. Hi, Mr. Sterling Banks.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Gideon Barnett here.
It's a pleasure to hear from you, sir.
Thank you. And what I want to speak about a little bit is the vaccination drive, especially that's being supported by government, merchants, and many others trying to push vaccination to get the herd immunity, which is the definition of that is known, but the actual criterion of the percentage is not known. And you wonder about secondary gain, especially when coming from Dr. Fauci in the United States of America, who doesn't even give the exact percentage, for example, and yet people adopt those type of things. Also, what concerns me is the great amount of fear that has been created. And if you look at Human Covers of yesterday, I mean, you have things, coercion type of things like raffles and $100,000 cash, a plot of land prizes, and new vaccine drive.
Mm-hmm.
This is unbelievable. And if you, I would invite your readers to take a look at the COVID-19, The Politics of Fear and the Power of Science by Dr. Mark Siegel. And that's a nice volume for people to read, and they'll understand that the creation of fear is bad for the human being. I mean, people die from that.
Right.
And so that's one volume I would like to...
Right. If you would allow me, because maybe when people hear that they don't really appreciate, could you just briefly just say to our listeners, who you are? I mean, I know you referred your name, but maybe some don't know that your profession and expertise.
Mm-hmm. My name is Gideon Barnett. I was born in Birch Tree Hill, West Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Can anything good come out of Birch Tree Hill? Of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and so went to the United States after graduating from Triple C School back in 1965 to become a physician. And so back in 1974, I received an MD degree from the State University of New York at Buffalo, and most of my practice was in Florida for around 30 years. And so I'm retired back home, and so that's me.
Yeah.
So I have a valid Florida license. I keep that up every 2 years, and a lot of people come to me for advice and so on.
Yes, sir.
Now, beyond that, I want to let you know that anything I say is not to be taken by the individual as any particular recommendation, but my impetus is for people to be free to make decisions.
Yes, sir.
And so that brings on an area in medical ethics and the practice of medicine is called informed consent. Informed consent. Informed consent. It assumes that there is somebody in medicine who is going to sign off on the treatment given.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as treatment, you have two types of treatment: preventive treatment and active treatment. And what we're talking about here, of course, is in COVID-19 vaccinations or treatments, you have preventive treatment, and also active treatment is when you treat an active disease. And so the informed consent is very, very important, a very, very important process which is recognized worldwide. And all consent, all treatment is presumed to have someone who would sign off on it. Now, I would like to ask, and maybe later on after I say what I have to say, maybe someone will give us the answer as to who signs off on those people who get COVID-19 vaccination. Is it the HSA? Is it a particular doctor from HSA? Is it a private practitioner? Who signs off on it? And who signs off on it is actually responsible for the totality of informed consent. Informed consent has to do a lot with the patient's Bill of Rights, and it's one of the main aspects of the Bill of Rights of patients. Now, when we speak about Bill of Rights, it first was enacted in the United States of America in the Older Americans Act of 1965. Now, since that time, essentially the whole world has adopted some type of patient's rights. And so let me read to you what that particular bill said. It says you have the right to know about your medical condition. Mm-hmm. You have the right to participate in planning your care and medical treatment. You have the right to refuse treatment. The patient shall be fully informed by the healthcare provider of his or her health care needs and medical condition, unless medically inadvisable. And then you get into imminent loss of life or limb and Good Samaritan type of treatment. Mm-hmm. But informed consent is very important. As a matter of fact, HSA has a statement on that, and let me see. It has to do with the patient's rights and responsibilities. And HSA has a statement that the patient, as a patient, you have the right to reasonable, informed participation in decisions about your health care.
Yes, sir.
Now, I wish that was a little more robust in the statement, but that's what we have.
Right.
So HSA recognizes the significance of that, and it's a free thing that a person participates in. Mm-hmm. But he can only truly participate in it fully without coercion. Let me tell you that all informed consent should be written. The patient should have been told the pros, the cons, and all side effects, for example, of the vaccine. Mm-hmm. As documented so far, regardless of what jurisdiction those adverse events took place, the patient should be told. And of course, in the United States, we have two bodies, the FDA and the CDC, which are the two governmental bodies that collect information on adverse events. And the patient should be told if the patient is interested. Not only if the patient is interested, but I mean, to get a truly informed consent, the patient has to be told the pros, the cons, the alternative treatments, and no coercion, and then the patient has to be given time to make a decision. Even if the patient comes to you expecting to receive a particular vaccination, the patient should be told. Now, for example, one of the things that has been reported in over 12,000 cases to the United States CDC as a adverse events that took place after people were injected with the vaccine. They should be told that. They should be told what is out there, because the patient has to make his own decision as to what he wants to do.
Right.
So there are many of these.
Yes, sir.
I will give you a few more statements before I open it up to you, back to you. And I want to let you know that there are such things as medical ethics, and these are especially encapsulated back in 1947 with the Nuremberg Code, and which was the forerunner of the United Nations patients' rights and people's rights, and against any kind of experimentation with any medicine, which includes vaccinations. And of course, I can let you know from a medical standpoint that the vaccination against COVID-19 is still experimental.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read you now a couple of statements made from the United Kingdom.
Right. So, Dr. Barnett, could I perhaps just invite you for a minute? Just let's pause and take the commercial break, and we'll get back to you. I'll come talk to you off air as well as we discuss. Would that be okay? We'll pause quickly and then we'll come back. Stay tuned for Dr. D.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Roma United Sports Club and JN Money presents the official Jamaican Independence Celebration and Health Fair on Friday, August 6th at the Lions Center, featuring local and international acts, kids talent contest, dancing contest, and best dress contest. Lots of prizes and giveaways, plus the good Jamaican food, music by Slaughter Rich, The Entertainer, and DJ Marcus. Health Fair from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Free PSA test. Free blood pressure and diabetes checks. Don't miss it. The Jamaica Independence Celebration and Health Fair on Friday, August 6th at the Lions Center. COVID protocol in effect. Come out early. Sponsored by Cayman Art Discount, Best Dress, Papa, Cayman Hair and Beauty Supply, People's Choice Grocery, Vibe Time, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. We do have the good company of Nobi in the studio. When the Ledger, hopefully, will come after the headline news at 1. And
I hope
certainly callers online, but let's go back to Dr. Barnett as well, right? You were just sharing, just briefly again, sir. Thank you, Dr. Barnett.
Yes, this is very brief, and I'm going to read you a few statements here, and it take less than a minute. There is no legal right to demand treatment in the United Kingdom.
No legal right, okay. Mm-hmm.
All adults generally have a presumed right to decide what happens to their body.
Mm-hmm.
Doctrine of informed consent as a principle in English law was clearly established in 2004 in the court case Chester v. Afshaw. Okay? And those are the only statements I want to leave you with for now.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because there's much more information, but I am thankful to you that you answered my call and gave me the privilege to say something. Because I do not want the people in the Cayman Islands to be under fear. I want them to be under freedom. And get all the information we can. And some are reliable, some are not reliable. I am not saying what they are, but I am saying that the people need to have opportunity for true informed consent and whole alternatives.
Yes, sir.
And alternative prophylaxis against that virus, which has never really been isolated in our community.
Yes, sir. Well, I certainly appreciate you taking the time, Dr. Barnett, to share with our listeners, and as you shared, very responsibly, to know as a patient, what your rights are. Thank you, sir. Blessings to you, and may you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much, and the same.
God bless, sir. Thank you so much. And, when people have that sort of leaning and impression in their heart and share their thoughts, well, that's good. Well, joining Nobi is that notable, some would say almost world famous. Some would say, what, she just hails from the Bracken, that's all that matters. Ms. Wendell Ledger, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How are you today?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Did you come bearing gifts?
I've brought my lunch, sorry.
Sorry, it's too... anyway, but listen, thanks.
It's not a very big lunch.
Well, you're
it's a mango smoothie.
Yeah, you're very, discerning, connoisseur, assumer, so you make sure things look good and taste good. So, great stuff.
Thanks.
All right, so Sheen, Nobi Edwards, and the wonderful spirit of Ms. Wendell Ledger. Hey, thank you both for coming in, joining us. And it's a Friday. A lot of things are transpiring in society. I was just commending Nobi earlier for not just the gracious way, but the consistent, very heartfelt sort of positioning of environmental considerations, protection, promotion, and like. I know, Ms. Wendy, you likewise have a penchant. So between the three of us, the two of you, maybe you'll inform me and cause our listeners to understand more. I think you have, Ms. Wendy, through your writings in particular, brought notice, at the very least, to our planning and development applications so that the public can have a semblance of what at least has transpired or is about to transpire, just for general purposes. Nobi has been a great champion through his Eco Rise to introduce us to say, did you realize this, that, the next thing? So before we kind of get more into discussion, let's apologize to some of our listeners and callers in particular who are on hold, and maybe take this other caller. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ebanks.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
I'm quite fine, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask if you are aware of any foreign media that was sending tourists to the Cayman Islands to visit an inventor of, in my description, a Caymanian game, for example, which is so.
No, but we can inquire.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that person was me, actually, Mr. Brown.
Okay, so you were the inventor of the game.
Yeah, that's right. And I intended to design at least one more.
Okay, awesome.
And if I couldn't get the help here, I would have to look at other countries.
Right. So how is that going so far? That level of sort of you're seeking for assistance. How is that going so far?
I'm telling you. Well, I played football as well.
Right.
You know.
So
yeah, but
do me a favor, right? I had your number. Just give it to my wonderful colleague or friend. I'll call you, and then we can pursue it. Then we can go from there. How about that?
Sure,
all right. Do not hang up. He'll take your number as we take the other caller. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
How are you, Mr. Sterling?
I am very thankful. I am incredibly blessed. And you?
Okay, God bless. I'm good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm not a person that call your talk show very often, but I just want to say something today.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that I got a vision the other day, and I prophesied to some people that there was going to be a march in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
And the march that I prophesied, it went on last week. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And those people that I tell, they were so shocked. And I tell them that there is another one coming up after this one. And there is something I want to say no. And what I'm going to say no, the Spirit has told me that Mr. Makiba Bush is going to be the governor for this country. Mr. Alden McLaughlin is going to be the premier for this country. And the reason for this, England is fed up and tired of what is going on. They said they are going to sign a document with Cayman so that Cayman can go on their own. That's what they said. They are going to sign a document with Cayman that Cayman can go on their own, and they are not going to send any more governors to Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did they say when?
One more thing I have to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to find out. I noticed that there's a lot of ponds in Cayman. I've lived in here for 40 years, and I noticed there's a lot of ponds in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
And these ponds extending more and more. If somebody have their property selling, what they are doing, they are digging out that soil and they are selling that soil, and when they finish, they are selling the land to someone else. Someone else have to go and fill up all that land and fill up all that water in that property.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'm warning this country today that those same ponds that is out there is going to soon start overflow. And it's going to start affect people.
Mm-hmm.
So the government must see to it that these ponds stop dug out. People need to stop dig these ponds.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you know what?
If they don't stop, they are going to suffer from it.
Yeah.
They are going to, those ponds that you see there right now is going to soon start overflow.
Well, I pray that we be wise and, respectful. Anything else you want to share before we close, ma'am?
I just want to share this with everybody today that is listening, what is going to happen.
Right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
When it happens, they will know that one lady came and talk show and say this.
Well.
So my friends that I have now, all of them, with all the people that I prophesy and tell them that there's another march coming up, they are looking out for that one.
Well, we'll see it when it happens, huh? Thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend, ma'am. All right. Quick little break, my friend Nobi, Miss Wendy, my friend as well. When we come back, I want to hear from you guys, man. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Dreaming of a great career or degree? The Caribbean Examinations Council offers regionally and internationally recognized qualifications to help you get there. These include the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and the CXC Associate Degree. These exams may be done while in school or out of school at private learning institutions. Visit cxc.org to learn more. With CXC, you're in control.
3T Cayman MRI is the patient-friendly MRI experience in the Cayman Islands. With the most advanced scanner on island, utilizing cutting-edge technology, and a team of highly trained radiologists and technologists with the experience that rivals any clinic in the world. Our suite is designed for patient comfort, with the largest patient opening of any scanner, and additional features to minimize anxiety during your scan. Come to 3T Cayman MRI for your patient-friendly experience. Learn more at 3tcayman.com.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I can't think of a better way to end a Friday afternoon than the company of Nobi and Miss Wendy Lejo, other than perhaps having a good siesta with some dark chocolate and sea salt, but that's a different story. Miss Wendy, what do you think?
Couldn't agree with you more.
There you go, Mom. There you go.
The dark chocolate and sea salt.
Sounds good, huh?
It's the downfall of us all.
All right, so it's a Friday. The week has transpired, and much is happening globally but locally. To your point, Miss Wendy, what would be those things that we should be looking at that maybe we've ignored? What are the important things that sort of keep you up at night, get you motivated, that concern you deeply? Not enough chocolate? Oh.
Yeah, that is a major issue. But I think for a long time, I have had concern about the excessive amount of development on the beach. Mm-hmm. And I think the idea, the concept of, property being, it's your land, you do what you want with it. I don't know that in the modern world that can still be the case, because we know that when you build your house on your bit of beach, you're affecting what happens to somebody else's house down their bit of beach. So we live in a collective. We don't live. Individualism might be the most important thing to people, but in actual fact, we don't live as individuals. We live in a society, and what I do impacts you, right, and vice versa. And so we have to have some consideration. And I think the freedoms that Cayman has been famous for, which is like, well, anybody can come and buy land and anybody can do what they want with it, has been detrimental in the long run. And I think it's taken people a long time to see that. And
very interesting that you say that.
It's now climate change that's sort of brought it even more to the fore. And, we can't solve these problems now as individuals. We're going to have to solve these problems as a collective. And I think, therefore, there's room, I think, for the discussion, and I know it's going to upset an awful lot of people, and I'm about to be labelled a communist, but I think there is room for some discussion about how we approach beachfront land, and whether that means that some people are going to have to be compensated, but we've got to reconsider and shift everything back. And if we don't, the sea's going to take it anyway, so there we have it.
Well, I mean, they've added to that by actually allowing them to build closer and allowing people now to build higher. So, the higher something goes, the more you have to dig out before you go up, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, these are all the concerns. I mean, there's not much, I understand your concern in that area, but I think it's more because the beach is such a beautiful thing on West Bay Road, and now we're losing it, and a lot of people see that, right? But in my ventures of actually riding around what I consider the future development area of Cayman is the East End. I'm seeing all these areas, not just beach, but we're talking about ponds and other areas that we need to be concerned about. And this is a time for certain restrictions to be put in place to ensure that we can have a structured development in a way that it doesn't affect the environment or minimum effect on the environment.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this is going to be achieved. I agree with you, it has to be collective, but collective in what way? You think that we should march on this? We think we should, I'm of the same opinion, because climate, if you're a person that really loves the environment and you enjoy the environment, you enjoy the wind, you enjoy the trees and the birds, it's not hard for you to see whenever a tree is moved that you don't see the birds you used to see.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not hard, right? And it's not hard for you to see when you move a tree, if it was a almond tree, if it was a guinea tree or a mango tree, you now don't have fruits that you could get from it. What my tours of EcoRise have done for me is made me get more of appreciation for everything that's there, because some places you go in where you can't find them.
Exactly.
And right now, if you go to East End and you go to the East End and the Colliers Public Beach and other various areas, you can pick a grape, a Cayman grape off a tree and eat it. There's not a lot of places you can do it. If you walk around the road, you can pick a guinea off the tree and eat it. Those things, in my opinion, are priceless. How do we preserve this? That's really my plight. I'm not saying everything has to be cut down. People can't. Stopped, and people can't develop. But we have to have a structured way, especially with these undeveloped areas like East End, because eventually it's going to be developed, and then we're going to wonder what happened.
Yeah. We have to be a little bit more draconian, I think, about our laws, and the planning law has not kept up with the changes, not just in terms of climate change, but also public sentiment. And there is when we began CNS and we began writing about environmental issues back in the day in 2008, there wasn't a great deal of interest, and there were some stalwarts. People back then, the West Bay ladies, for example, who were fighting for beach access, and there have been and Billy Adam always sticks in my mind as being a long-term, strong, true advocate for the environment. And there's several other people, and obviously some of the team at the DOE have been ringing the alarm for a long, long time. But it wasn't across the community. But I feel now it is. And we've had a meeting of sort of very much older generations that are realising what's been lost, and meeting the younger generations that understand the problems of climate change. And we're seeing that come together. And you saw that specifically, I think, during the port opposition, where those sort of forces converged to become a really strong voice. And there is now an awful lot more interest in development. And unfortunately, the Central Planning Authority is an entity, I'm not talking about the individuals necessarily on it, but as an entity in the planning department, just have not kept pace with that. The laws haven't kept pace. The previous government opted to change regulation in the back rather than the laws up front, which often seemed, you can't say for certain, but often seemed to be to accommodate a specific developer for a specific thing. And that type of thing is rolled out in such a way that it's affected how decisions are made. And I've been going to plan over the last couple of weeks. The last couple of months. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to go. But in the past, I was going a lot more and just observing how the process rolls out. And what you see is the precedent problem has had a terrible influence. Because once one person had a setback from the high water mark granted, the next chap comes along and he gets himself a decent lawyer and they argue for it. And how do you say, well, he got it, so why can't I have it? And now we have this terrible knock-on effect of that happening.
I would really like you to repeat that. I hope more people are listening to this, right? The first part is that I gather there is that the laws are changing the regulation in the back. Sorry, they make changes in the regulations in the back and not in the laws.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And then the other part of that is that, as you said, I didn't say it. It's changed for a specific development.
It certainly appears to be. I mean, we can't prove that on every single. The perception is there that that's what happens, right. And it certainly looks that way when you look at the chain of events quite often.
So, and then this is the most important one, that once a precedent is set, it's what she just said.
No, that's what is okay.
Right? And that's what happens
once a precedent is set.
And it is very difficult. And even the chairman, I was at meetings where the chairman pointed that out, that we cannot refuse this now because the precedent has been set.
Right.
And unfortunately, the high watermark line now should be going way back. We shouldn't have a 75 setback on Ironshore or whatever, or what is it, 75 on sand and 50 on Ironshore. It should be double, triple, quadruple that.
Right.
Never mind that being waived.
So,
and it's absurd that we find ourselves in this position that it cannot be changed. Now, I think we all have a certain amount of hope that there's a certain person sitting on the top floor of the government accommodation building now that might have a little bit more interest in getting this right than perhaps. No, I'm talking about somebody who...
Well, okay, get something done.
Somebody who actually will get something done, I hope.
Oh,
he knows who he is.
We do have the...
Yeah, no, I mean, government's not here to get things done, are they? I mean, come on, be fair. I mean, let's be fair.
Like I was saying,
at the end of the day, they're there for decoration, aren't they? I mean, it's not really. It's like the Queen. They're like the Queen, except they're not.
I've been coming on here for about 2 years now, right?
At least, yeah.
Right, on and off, and I was so happy to hear that we had someone, because I keep asking up until election. I've been saying, if we only had someone that believed in the environment, someone that stood up for the environment,
right.
And then we finally got someone that's like that. I'm waiting to see, but they're so busy dealing with all the other
Absolutely.
issues.
So we do have the news break, right? Let's take the news break. I think Ms. Mendes' words can be summed up. Kisses go with favors. You know what I mean? When you come back, we'll tell you. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Today, DMS launches its vaccine lottery program to increase the vaccinated population of the Cayman Islands. DMS, a Caymanian-owned company, will sponsor a vaccine lottery to incentivize all residents to get vaxxed and enter to win a single cash prize drawing of $100,000. There are 2 ways to win. 1, get vaccinated, and 2, refer a friend. Both newly and previously vaccinated persons by the Cayman Islands Health Services Authority are eligible for entry in the lottery. In international news, a city in southwestern Afghanistan has become the country's first provincial capital to fall to the Taliban in recent years. The militants continue to make rapid advances in the country as foreign troops withdraw. They have taken swathes of countryside and are now targeting key cities. U.S. news network CNN has sacked 3 employees for going into an office without having been vaccinated against COVID, U.S. media say. It is one of the first examples of a U.S. firm firing staff for breaching a company vaccination mandate. It is legal in the U.S. for firms to require employees to be vaccinated. Apple has announced details of a system to find child sexual abuse material on U.S. customers' devices. Before an image is stored onto iCloud Photos, the technology will search for matches of already known CSAM. Apple said that if a match is found, a human reviewer will then assess and report the user to law enforcement. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Office Supply in the Marquee Plaza on Lawrence Boulevard is a participating sponsor of the New Nocos Story, the story of a modern Cayman Islands passenger ship of its era, which departed Cayman with its destination being Tampa, Florida, in July 1936 and was never heard or seen of again. Office Supply, the back-to-school headquarters, up to 20% discount on school supplies. Visit them today and enter to win laptops, printers, and tablets. Office Supply, 946-1200.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. The phone lines are open, of course. And we have the excellent company of Nobi together with Mendel Leger. And we can discuss any and everything, but I think the focus of development planning environment. Nobi?
I have to go back. Someone just asked a question, so I'm going to put it out here again. We were the caller, which we have to take that call. Quite important, the one regarding the COVID vaccination, right? I know we've been going through it for some time, off and on, but someone just asked us what's Dr. Lee's opinion on that. What you think he would say in regards to what the caller just mentioned.
Oh well, we'll pick up that caller. I mean, many would share the incentivizing and stuff. Sometimes is akin to coercion, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, be interesting to see.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is we have a chief medical officer that should be able to give us some feedback on that. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with that caller in regards to the fact that you really are limited to what you can do or what someone can force you to do with your body.
The public health legislation aside, it seems like it's akin to what the U.S. has, where they can grab you and throw you and never hear from you again. Let's go to the phones, Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Young lady, how are you today, Mom?
Oh, I'm bright and cheery.
Oh, you are a spirit.
Do I sound that way? To the young man in the studio, the Stena.
Yes, Mom.
I've been hearing about Collier's Pond for longer than you've been alive, maybe twice.
Yeah.
That age. But anyhow, by a lady, and you can go back home and find out who she was.
Okay.
Miss Laiuna Borden Nee Watson. You know the people, right?
Yep.
Okay, she always talked about, all East End talk about you came Georgetown, but they never did leave East End. That's where their hearts were, and that's where most of them, their bones lie, including Nuno.
Yeah.
And she always talks about her Collier's Pond. But, young man, I don't know if it makes any difference for us to appeal to our government. We work hard and we change personnel changes, but the mandates and it seems like everything continues to be the same, because administration after administration we are asking for this and we don't get it from this administration. We change the administration because we say we will get it because it is right, and we don't get anything. And I don't think this administration is looking much different than the previous administration. Young man, you're young. You got what all of them, including myself. You got TIME. Get up and do what the old Easterners used to do. You say you no plan about your grandma, your grandmother, and your granddaddy, but in particular your grandmama would have gotten up and say we got to do something about it and find a way. Money can be made. Find a way to make money. If that young man want to give him a number, you can get it from him. And if you want to go to his boss, you got me, call me, baby, call me. Because you can save call. At least you can try a little better than this. You're talking to a piece of board. When you're talking to our government, you things to common people.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, I'm gone.
I'll share the number, Mom. Share the number.
Yeah, be good.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
We do have another call, but nobody, if you wanted to share something, we can grab the caller.
Yeah, I appreciate what the caller said. What the important point is that we keep insisting and pointing out things. And I know, it's very hard for most governments to take people serious, that you just ride around on a bicycle and you come and tell us things. Most of the time.
Sorry, you talking about Mendel Leger?
No, Mr. Leger, no.
I'm a cyclist and I sympathise. I know what you mean, because you see, it's like of all the people that see, a cyclist sees.
Yes.
You don't see,
yes.
I wouldn't say a bad word then, but you don't see very much when you're driving with your windows up and the AC on, whereas on a bicycle, you're close to it.
Yep. Yep.
And you can get to places that cars can't get to.
And then day after day, like when I do my tours, you get to see more and more. But what I'm trying to point out is that it seems like if you're not a big consultant, they don't really take your opinion. And they need to have more of understanding the people of the Cayman Islands, those who are exposed to it.
input from those on the ground. Let's take a couple of callers. We take this one and the next one. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Billy Sinamba here. How are you and your guests and the viewers?
We're blessed, man. So we got Nobi and we got Miss Mendeleja. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I have been listening to you guys from the very beginning, and I think you are hitting all the right points. You know, I mean, I come from Africa where we've got land enough to throw away, and yet even there, it is a big issue. Countries don't just allow people to come and buy land. So when I came to Cayman and I found people in a small place, you allow foreigners just to buy land, I found that very, very interesting. But it is being addressed now, and that's very, very good. Now, once you talk about legislation, my juices start flowing. You mentioned there about how sometimes regulations or rather, certain rules are put in regulations rather than in the act passed by Parliament. And that makes it easy for Cabinet to change it. And sometimes it is changed one Tuesday morning, and people don't realize. And I think that's a very good point that you've mentioned there. The importance of that is that you need to train the people in the government, because there are a lot of people in the government at the officials level. They have been had for lunch by people in the private sector. As well as the private sector really is important. Okay, it is very important that they should also have an input, but they should not appear to be in control. And once you put things in regulations, then it is much easier for drastic changes to be done. That's why last week, I think when I called you, I said, look, I'm offering a course on how to control the legislative process, just one-day course. And if you want, get in touch with me. But not to use your program for false advertising. No. For free advertising. Let me move on to something more important. One more point. You know that I have sued a judge, Mr. Ian Kawali. I've sued him, and we had a hearing, and the judgment is now ready. The judgment is ready. It has been circulated just to the parties. I know what it says, but I can't say it on radio yet, but I just want to tease it out. But what people should look out for is that judgment was going to consider whether you can sue a judge, whether if a judge is acting maliciously, whether you can sue him and hold him personally liable. That's the issue that I sued the judge about. There is now a ruling on that. We will know one way or the other. I know which way it has been ruled, but as soon as it is now going through typographical corrections, okay? The no substantive changes are made so that I know what the ruling is. And so we will know either later today or maybe most likely on Monday. It will be made public, and then maybe we can debate it. All I can tell you is that it is very, very interesting, and just watch out for it. Especially Miss Wendy, watch out for it and so on. Maybe you might want to do a story about it. I don't know, but please look out for it.
Okay, sir.
I will do.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Right.
That was very interesting call right there.
Indeed.
And I'm going to take him up on that course.
Yeah, there you go,
Will you go, Ms. Ledger?
No. She wants to, but her time doesn't love.
Yeah, I don't have time to, or the money. I don't earn $750 an hour like our lawyers do.
Okay, let's take the caller. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, you just crossed my mind, man. You okay?
I just made it, man.
You made it? You went okay?
Yeah.
All right, man. All right. Good, man.
But that was a nice point what that last caller made.
Yeah, man.
About maliciousness.
But nobody should be above the law, right?
I don't think so.
I mean, nobody should be above the law. But nothing should be, done out of malice either. But anyway, let's hear from you, man. Welcome. I'm glad it went okay. Talk to me. Yeah. All right.
On the work, you know what I mean?
I know, man. I know.
So when it comes to my freedom, right? I have to take advice. I'm not saying I have to, but advice is given, right? From a generation that was able to put me and a whole bunch of other youngsters in. You know, understand, like that this generation in cleans that allowed smoking cigarettes, right? That generation, not only for profit, but, for maliciousness.
Mm-hmm.
You put me in a plane smoking cigarettes, and you got the nerve to come and tell me I can't smoke ganja.
Yeah. Well, I think, the push internationally now is to, and I'm unfortunate that we talk about legalizing and decriminalizing. We see Miss Wendy with her great intellect, despite the attempts at lawyers and politicians to explain the difference, might at some point off air kind of give me a better understanding of really what's the difference.
I sorry to be so abrupt, you know what I mean?
No, man, not at all, man. No, man.
Still, this is on my mind.
Straight talk, man.
Myself, what you not decriminalizing this now again for profit?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're not gonna profit me again, or you're not gonna profit, all the rest of us that been arrested or been through the, through the trials and the loss of being stigmatized for earning a plant.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, man.
I wonder where this generation believes they have the key or the most capable, like prediction of the future of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I sorry to step out this way because sometimes I wonder really who in charge of my life.
I wonder who wants to be.
And you know what? I'm not going to stir it up no more. But Mr. Dwayne, have a nice day. You understand? Your head the shiniest.
Blessings, my friend. Blessings. I'll reach out to you, man. Glad it went well. Okay, take care of yourself. All right, well. Hey, commercial break, my friends. Come back to us, Wendy, Nobi. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Although very similar to their Grand Cayman counterparts, organized religion in the Sister Islands was spearheaded by the work of Baptist ministers as opposed to Presbyterian missionaries who started the churches nearly 40 years after that in Grand Cayman. In May of 1885, Reverend J.H. Sobey, minister of the Second Baptist Church of Montego Bay, visited Cayman Brac at the invitation of the Brac seamen. During his visit, Reverend Sobey held the first service in a large house, and it was so overcrowded that the following day a tent had to be erected to have the service. In 1886, Reverend Sobey returned to Cayman Brac with Secretary of the Jamaica Baptist Missionary Society, Reverend E.J. Hewitt, in order to introduce Reverend H.W. Rutty as the Brac missionary worker. Congregations started at various settlements with the construction of 2 chapels in Stake Bay and the Creek. The progress would continue, and 6 months later, Reverend Rutty was ordained as a permanent missionary, and more congregations were formed in Westin, Sport Bay on the east end of the island, and South Harbour in Little Cayman. Reverend Rutty's son and grandson would go on to become Cayman Brac's collector and Chief Justice of the Peace.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Summer, the season for backyard gatherings, beach parties, office socials, and camps for kids. Make the most of your summer party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters or double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your summer with Subway. Visit Subway.ky for menu options. Subway. Eat fresh. Do you have plans to travel to the UK? You must provide a letter of certification from Public Health and your vaccination certificate issued in the Cayman Islands if traveling to the UK via the Bahamas, the United States, Canada, Jamaica, or any other Amber List country. If you are traveling directly to the UK from Cayman, no letter of certification is necessary. Letters of certification may be requested by emailing nola.sanderson@hsa.ky. Travelers must attach a copy of their vaccination card card as a screenshot attached to their email request. All requests will take 3 business days to process, and letters will only be issued within 3 weeks of a person's date of travel. Letters of certification are only needed if traveling to the UK via any Amber List country. Travelers to the UK coming directly from the Cayman Islands do not require a letter of certification.
The New Nooka's Story can be heard on Sunday at 3 p.m. in a repeat broadcast. Being brought to you by Puritan Cleaners, professional full-service launderers and dry cleaners, offering 1 hour and same-day service and a full drapery service. The New Nooka's Story, Sunday, 3 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Talk to Dick.
But I do have some questions.
Talk to Dick.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk to Dick.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Denobi and Ms. Wendell Ledger for being a part of a discussion. And we have a couple more callers, man.
Okay.
Hey, Friday.
Friday.
Good stuff.
You, they just
Good
love
afternoon.
you.
They love me? I hope so. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Shiny head.
How are you today? Welcome.
Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, let me ask now. Miss Wendell says it's me that they love and it's the shiny head. Is that true?
Say that again.
It's me that they love and it's my shiny head. Is that true? Come on.
I heard that.
You heard that, huh?
You know I like him, man. He's right.
Yeah, man. I got phone a friend and asked her that's true. Maybe she can tell me.
You know, she can laugh gently.
Miss Norm, is that true, ma'am?
She knows you laugh gently. But anyhow, your previous caller, oh, young man, you seem to have energy. And I know that if you let things clear up, you would have a brain. We talking about saving Collier's Pond now.
Okay.
That's it. That we need to apply your energies, even though you might be sound like you're from way down the other side. But it's okay, Cayman. It's a small little postage stamp. Help us save Colliers. You might know anybody from Colliers, but I know people from Colliers.
Yeah.
Help us save Colliers away from, what you call them, the developers? The ones that come here now, here, Stana.
Sorry, developers or destructors?
One hand in front and one behind.
Yeah.
And by 2 o'clock this evening, they own it all.
Yeah.
We want to save Colliers Pond. Young man, apply your energies and your strength, your vitality and your intelligence in that direction. Don't talk about who running your life. Police don't trouble you if you go buy cigarettes from Canada. Are gone.
Yes, ma'am. All right, I take the call, maybe.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, sir. Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'd just like to say this real quickly before I say what I have to say to you. My friend, Mr. Raymond Scott, called me and told me that he had a tribute done to Mr. Jill Borden, very well acquainted with. And also Mr. Bronson Banks, the seaman. He had a large tug close in and lit up the place with, Mr. Jill was involved with tugs and the barges, removing the metals out and so forth for us for years. And I think that was a fitting tribute to Jill and to Bronson, our friend. I'm sure, Sterling, you know who the Bronson is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I often wonder about the word that you used there, whether it should be precedent or precedent.
Well, Paul Keynes Douglas.
It doesn't really matter to an uneducated person like myself, but I do think that we should think about the proper pronunciation of it sometimes, whether it's precedent or precedent.
Yeah.
Both of those there, and you all have more education than I do. I just wondered about that. If no one mentioned one of the mixes in this whole thing, this whole equation, except for Miss Wendy a while ago, and she said she doesn't have the money. Money is the basic calling card behind all this, right? Money. Have you ever seen anyone take a mangrove leaf or some nice bush into the bank or flower, and they regard it as anything worthy or collateral? No, they don't, but the land maybe that is on. And that's the point I'm trying to make. It's all about money. Change over from our system 50 odd years ago into this new world. So when I remember very well, and you talked about consultants, Miss Genevieve Borden, those who went to her school, I didn't. I was going to school was many, many years ago, like many Caymanians going to school in Jamaica. But many of my friends who went to her school, Miss Genevieve, and she was asked, who is a consultant? She said, the guy from over yonder. That's what a consultant is. Just to get my drift. I remember when the CITES convention thing started up. They came, we had the turtle farm going, we had a huge jewelry factory there, we had many, many Caymanians employed, 130-something. We had a good business going, and they told us that they had to more or less quit this kind of thing and move into it as a conservation thing only, and it was a big, big thing. Mr. Jim Borden tried his very best to show them that we could be conservation, doing conservation program as well. But it didn't work out that way, as we all know. We didn't save the only unique Caymanian business. And it's now a beautiful thing, as more or less as a kind of marine zoo, and a beautiful thing. And I encourage people to go there, but it's not what it was then, when we had 108,000 turtles. We were shipping turtle meat out, we were shipping their shells out, form of jewelry, we were shipping the oil out, making soaps and so forth, and we had many a success with turtles. But we were told this, and that's how we did, and we started turning them loose into the sea and so forth, so on. This is our story. What we would like, as you're saying, the choice always, you don't really have sometimes. And when we started focusing mainly on the financial world and realizing the many land sales and the famous ones, the names here, don't have to call them, you all know, who encouraged the sale of land and built their reputation on the sale of land and so forth. That really was the start of everything. The National Trust has over 3,000 acres of land. It can preserve a lot. But land that was sold before on the beach, there was the equivalent amount given on the land side. The intention was that the hotels and everything would be built on the land and leave the beach alone across from the road. That wasn't done. So we have more or less ourselves to blame. Now it's a question of the money for the people to exist on. And that's where we're at. We have 130-something nationalities here. You have to provide a way for them to live. And that's the balance that the politicians are faced with. We elect them, then we say, this is what we want, this individual wants this. Everybody has their own opinion. But reality says the money has to come from somewhere, somehow. And the land is the resource that we have. Sadly, it's sold. And then the only place you can go with limited land space, because if nobody's going to build in land, mostly nearby to the sea as it always was, then that's what's going to happen. And the valuable land will have to go upwards, because these people are very rich and they've bought the land, and that's the decisions they will make. And they're going up and up. And one of the very well-known politicians predicted that years ago. He was laughed at and lambasted for it. But it's coming true, and it will come true. That's the way we'll move forward. So we have to be realistic. We cannot have our cake and eat it all so. And it's an old saying, and it may sound silly, but that is what is happening to us. We have the choice. We go on with this, or we can change drastically, back to what we were, I don't think our young people can do that. You notice most young people cannot live without a cell phone in their hands. They're always with it, and older persons also now. So that is realism. It's a very different society. We can talk all we want about the old ways, and I remember very well, but it's not going to happen. So we have to be realistic. The bargaining point is money. Money, money, money. They'll build seawalls, they'll build this to protect the sand, they have the money to do it, and try to bring back sand and do many things to do it, and so forth. And we have to consider we've got to provide jobs for these 130-odd different nationalities here. That's my take on the whole thing. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Nobby?
The gentleman has a very good point. But, the perspective that I look at is that we have two main pillars of our economy. One is tourism, and the other one is the financial part, right? Mm. And I don't think we have explored a bigger, what I would consider ecotourism here in Cayman. So I'm thinking that we should have that in mind when we're preserving areas and when we're doing development. Development can possibly go around some of these places. Like I've seen in some countries, they build stuff in the mangroves, but it's built by going in there, putting in stilts, putting in wood structure, and building around the mangroves in a way that it complements it. And I don't know, when it comes to doing that in Cayman, it seems like you got to go through so much planning stuff and doing a footing and all that. I don't know, but there are places around the world. I've been to Bocas del Toro is one of those places that you can see these houses on stilts within the mangroves, and they have sloths. They have almost all kind of indigenous or very, I would say indigenous, but protected species. I think they even have dolphins and stuff that living within the mangrove area. So, it has, the way they developed made a difference. They made sure that they protect the environment, but also build things within it. And the environment was the main thought. I don't see that happening here. And most of the time you're seeing a whole mangrove area being taken out. And then all these other things like our indigenous plants and stuff are not being paid attention to. But I agree with the gentleman that money is the key, right? Because money has to flow, but we also have to think about that other pillar. Right now, it's not existent, but most Caribbean countries, whenever someone visits, they're looking at what are they going to see? Mm-hmm. Are we going to still limit it to just the Stingray City, and then you got a nice hotel that you go into, you eat good food, and that's about it? Or are we going to focus on the possibility of having another sector to it, like the eco part? And I think that's what we're missing. Right. I don't know if Ms. Ledger agrees with that, but I think that's part of it.
I think I do agree that tourism should be based on ecotourism and that trying to develop within your environment rather than against your environment. But the problem here now is that it's a bit too late. So we've destroyed most of the mangroves. So what mangroves and wetlands we've got left, we really don't want to touch at all because it's too dangerous now, because we're so much on the brink of losing all of what it does for us because of the importance to the climate, importance to the nature. You know what it does, I don't need to say. So because we've done exactly what the last caller was talking about, which is instead of building on the other side of the road and letting the beach live and the buffer, like the natural environment along the beach stay, we did it. So we've destroyed it. We went for the boxes. We went for the cookie cutter type hotels all the way down 7 Mile Beach. And then we're just going tall. And like you said, going taller and taller now. So we're trapping more and more sand underneath. So 7 Mile Beach is disappearing. And then you compound that with climate change and sea level rise in particular for us, which is the main problem, bearing in mind that the scientists have been very, very scared to say how dramatic sea level rise is going to be. And now they are saying, actually, yes, sorry, we said it was only going to be a few inches here and there for the next few years, but actually, no, it's going to be a lot worse. And we now don't really know what we're looking at in terms of, say, even over the next 25 years, for how much of our land is going to be lost to the sea, and how much the sea is going to be washing inside people's yards already. It's happening. We see it now. It's gone beyond just. We know the beach has gone down the southern end of 7 Mile Beach. The beach is gone. It's going to come back little bits and pieces. Maybe we don't know, but we can see now that it's actually inundating as well. It's encroaching into the actual condos themselves. So we're there already now. You know, the island's largest developer, he opted to build his last hotel very far back. I don't know if you noticed that he bought the road so that he could build the hotel on the other side of it and he'd create his own beachfront property. So he thinks, because he's so wealthy, he can think in much longer term. But most development here is very, very short term. It's very 50% sold now condos, and it's like that quick flip. You know, they make the money, they sell the condos, and then now off they go. And you know, we're left with these fairly unattractive buildings along, you know, I mean, they're not attractive. I don't care what any people are going to say, oh, my condos are wonderful. I'm sure they are, but they're unattractive. And especially if you're looking from the backside, you know, it's unpleasant. And it's too, I don't know, it's too late, because that's a lot of compensation. If everybody's got to start shifting back to the other side of the West Bay Road, literally, that is a lot of compensation. So as a country, but the sea is going to make it a reality. So if we don't stop this now, I mean, my position is that I think we need a moratorium on all coastal development. But that is like, you can hear them, can't you? You know, she's a communist. Like, shoot her now. Like, you know, get her out of here. George Soros, the Illuminati. Well, you know, so like, you know. Right. But the solution is difficult, because what Nobby's saying is exactly right, that we need to have some kind of eco-tourism string to our bow, because I think Cayman's made it pretty clear that it doesn't really want cruise tourism back, and if it does, only in a very, very small doses. So, you know, the other part would be let's accentuate the diving, let's accentuate the on land as well, because divers are also tend to be people that are going to go on your bike tours. They're that kind of tourist, aren't they? I mean, they're usually, you know, combination. So we do have to think about it, but we've got to make some really hard decisions, and I don't know if anybody can make it. The fella singing on top floor right now is the man to do it. But if he can't do it, then I don't know who can.
All right. Well, let's pause and take a break and see who else can do it. You can do it, and I can do it. Let's just do it now. We're going to pause and take a break. When we come back, more talk today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
For the first time in over 45 years, the University College of the Cayman Islands is having an alumni homecoming gala dinner on October 28th. The event highlights the kickoff of the UCCI Alumni Network, a community of professionals helping the university and one another. If you're a UCCI graduate, join the network today and let your fellow classmates know about it. Visit ucci.edu.ky/alumni and come give us a hand with UCCI's first ever homecoming.
This is an important message from the Cayman Islands Needs Assessment Unit for Grand Cayman residents. If you live outside of Georgetown and need NAU assistance, then the NAU in our district program could be for you. This month, the NAU will be providing walk-in services at the East End Civic Center on Friday, August 6th from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. At the Buddentown Public Library on Friday, August 13th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and at the West Bay Public Library on Friday, Friday, August 20th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Walk-in clients are asked to bring any supporting documentation along with them. For further details, email nauinfo@gov.ky or call 946-0024.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britke Insurance, Health, Pensions, Life, where people come first.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals. And being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to my Grass grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
The story of the new Nokel can be heard in a repeat broadcast on Sunday at 3 p.m. on Radio Cayman. The New Noka's disappearance, a Cayman Islands maritime mystery. The New Noka's story. Brought to you by
Thompson Shipping, a name synonymous with cargo and goods to and from the Cayman Islands. Let Thompson Shipping take care of your shipping needs. Thompson Shipping, 949-8044.
Talk to Dick.
But I do have some questions.
Talk to Dick.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk to Dick.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us in the studio. Shane Nobi Edwards and Miss Wendell Ledger. Now, that was interesting. We have 3 calls online and a WhatsApp that we want to read. Let me just quickly read the WhatsApp and then go to our callers. Says, good afternoon. I wonder if you could check this out. This morning as I was driving to work, I noticed that the Anchorage condominium has put up some cones by the side of the road so cars are not able to park by the side of the road. The Christopher Columbus and the Avalon condominiums did the very same thing. What else now? Perhaps you could check with NRA if they're allowed to do that. Now, we've seen those little things in many places. Many callers have asked about it. I've asked about it. So we read it, and it's just increasingly transpiring. For its own, well, anyway, let me hold on for somebody accused Ms. Bender being a communist in the site. Now there's a joiner. Let's take some other calls. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon.
Mr. Vin.
Yes, sir, my friend. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, twice. Some more of it like my energy.
Oh man, it's all good, man.
Yeah, man.
So let me share my energy 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you do? Forget about cultures, born or whatever. You know what you try to do? You try to get back them Jamaicans, they repatriation. You understand? Then they won't have no more slaves to work. Understand? No? That's too hard, not true.
All right. Yeah, man. But let's like we talk about, let's put our stuff where we can make it better for us, right? Look up for a call for me afterwards. We can talk about that thing. All right?
Yeah. No problem. Cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cool, bro. Yeah, that man has a great passion and intellect. Always appreciate it. Yeah. Before we go to the calls, Nobi, you were saying? Or you just take the call? Take the call? All right.
Yeah, take the call.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Tell him that for me.
Okay.
We're not talking about repatriation. Men are supposed to fight wars. What's a woman doing out there? Pick up your soft boy. Draw the line in the sand. You're a man. I'm an old woman. I'm a senior citizen. And you still talking, call your son. Address your energies there. Now, Ms. Renda, good afternoon, ma'am. Talking about a moratorium, there is a ex-politician still with us, Mr. Norman Borden. That was, in my estimation, one of his favorite words, moratorium. And he always used to call for moratorium. And I believe not just from bricks and mortar on the 7 Mile corridor, but also for, you know, the work permit people. He would call for a moratorium on that too. In my humble opinion, I was young and I might have gotten it wrong, but I felt that's what he was trying to say. But Mr. Norman Borden is still with us, and maybe you could do a little sit down with him, because he always called for moratorium on the 7 Mile corridor. Always talked about overdevelopment. In my humble opinion, again, maybe I was too young to really understand what he was saying, but that's what I got from it. He's still here.
Yeah.
That might be a good source.
Mr. Borden is a very good man.
Yeah.
I'm lucky and grateful I got the opportunity to work with him.
There you go. So you introduce him and Miss Renda.
Yeah, we've met.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's take two more. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good afternoon. All right. Go to the next line. Welcome. Thank you for calling. Good afternoon.
Yes, it's me, Margaret. Hi, everybody.
Yes, Mom.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Nabi.
Hi, how you doing, Mom?
You mind me clean. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay. Thank you.
It could be wrong. You're my.
And hi to, I think it was Wendy.
Wendy, yes, Mom.
Yeah. The individual just spoke about these cones and these spikes down in front of our condos on the 7 Mile stretch. I thought that was public road. How they got the privilege to put these cones and spikes down, and the spikes are down permanently. And I thought that was part of the main road. But you know what it is? Just bad mind. Doesn't want nobody to park up there to go down to the beach. And I can't see what so much cars parking there would hinder them from coming in and out, going to their into their condos. But Sterling, we welcome everyone here to the Cayman Islands and told them, jobs was available and all that kind of good stuff. We took them into our homes and we fed them, and we became pen pal writers with them for years and couple years and so forth. And then they decided to come here and fill up the island, and then turn around and say that we're not allowed to use the beach. We end up with the beach access. It's unbelievable. And I just came out of Bacchus in your, what do you call it, your territory, your district, your republic, whatever.
Our place of refuge.
I got down there and actually I was discouraged. Everyone thought about Bacchus Beach, and I drove for a period of time, and the road was so bad it wasn't topped off with the, honestly, what you used to call it barbecue topping, barbecue road, And there's a lot of potholes here and there, and it's a long road, and it's not really the best of the road. And I think I came across about four signs saying public beach access, and none of those access was, to me, walkable or drivable, and it was very unwelcoming, I would say. And then I had another one say beach access, so I goes into this sand yard, and I was in a seemed to be a private owner's yard. So I don't know where that sign was pointed to, but it was up alongside of this individual property, say public beach. But then again, I didn't see the road to go down to the public beach. and they've been talking about wanting to go down there with the tourism. I didn't know if I had to go further, and it just looked like one big old long dead end road. So I didn't take the chance to go down, and it kind of was pretty holy. So a bit discouraged with the big talk about Barker's Beach and Barker's preserving Barker's. I could have missed what they were talking about, but I didn't see anything. Okay, not to my liking, no disrespect to the area. And I also want to say that school is almost upon us. The new year for school, and I haven't seen not one proper bus station for our children to wait for the school bus to come to pick them up. I also want to state that down there in Smith Road, there a lot of kids, primary and high school kids, are using the Pasadena parking lot to wait for the school buses, and that's one of my routes. And it is very dangerous in that parking lot. People drive through there to go to the hospital. They drive through to come back to Smith Road to avoid being behind the bus, and they're going to hurt somebody down there at Smith Road Shopping Center. And the owner said the kid even goes and pull the emergency thing on the wall, and that brings out the fire truck and the police and all that kind of stuff. So something needs to be done about Smith Road pick up for our kids, for primary and high school children. And also on Walker's Road, they're using the church there that is called Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. They got that all fenced off, and the kids are running in and out under the fencing and standing on the sidewalk waiting for the school buses, and traffic is going left, right, and center. And a couple of weeks before school closed, up there by Vigoro Nursery, another bad pickup. This kid from primary school had a ball, and the ball goes into the road, and the kid running to get the ball, and my bus is coming now, which won't pick up the primary, pick up high school kids. And they're like, what is this kid doing? And these kids, 95% of them are being unsupervised. And it's terrible. This is another new school year coming up next, another couple of weeks. And I don't hear nothing how to protect our children. And people overtaking the bus when the buses stop to let the kids off or pick up in the morning and the evening time drop off. I just hope that someone is listening and we could have a more cleaner, more organized new year for the kids coming up here in a few weeks' time. I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, appreciate that very much, Mom. All right, with that, we'll pause quickly, take a short break, and come back. We'll continue. Stay tuned. We'll talk today.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Kim and Brack and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Ready, set, goal! Enjoy the latest and greatest sports events live on SportsMax. With every Digicel Prime bundle, get dedicated data for your SportsMax app so you can catch all the live action and more right at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Get your 30-day Digicel Prime Bundle Plus for only $55 and start watching, because catching gold is better on a bundle. Digicel, better together.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
The Department of Environment would like to invite Cayman Brac residents to a special community meeting at the Spot Bay Primary School this Thursday, 12th August at 7:30 p.m. to discuss the conservation plan for the shrub known as Sybil's crownbeard. The entire world population of Sybil's crownbeard grows on the north-facing cliffs of Cayman Brac's Bluff. The community meeting is this Thursday, 12th August, 7:30 p.m. at Spot Bay Primary School. To learn more, download the plan from www.conservation.ky.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for sharing with us. And thanks to the Nobi and Wendy Ledger for being part of our discussion. You guys are great company, and we got some excellent callers. Let's join two more. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Welcome. How are you?
Right here, sir. What's the topic?
It's open line. What do you want to share? But we have Wendy and Nobi in the studio, so we can talk about anything.
Okay, then. This is, I was watching some little thing up on Facebook where they're showing, like, in front of the hotel, how we don't have no more beach up around that side there right now. Somebody could tell me what caused that?
Well, what caused the video? Someone took it. What caused the thing that the person took the video of? Miss Wendy is an expert in environmental thing. I'm sorry, Ma. Miss Wendy?
I'm not an expert in the environmental issues at all. No. I don't know who took it. I think the sea.
Yeah, the sea.
Yeah. As far as I understand from what I've learned from the technical experts at the DOE, what's happening on the southern end of Seven Mile Beach, which is the worst it's ever been, is that the preponderance of sea walls has effectively stopped not just sea walls but concrete structures on the beach itself. So that's the patio decks, the pools, the bars and restaurants. The growth of that along has reached the point where, combined with sea level rise, the sand can't move, and so you've lost the natural dynamics and movement of the beach. So when it goes away and you get that deficit and credit throughout the season traditionally, that is being eroded by the increase in sea level rise, and there's nowhere for the sand to go. It constantly disappears. But there is sand trapped underneath these structures. It's there. 7 Mile Beach is there, but it's underneath these things. And the more sea walls we put up, because that's what's happening now, everybody's trying to save what little bit of beach they've got, more sea walls. So it's a vicious circle, and that's colliding up against sea level rise. And there is only one solution, and that's moving these concrete structures back. But it's going to cost money.
Yeah. Yes, Mom?
Oh, okay. So, what are they planning to do with that, about that?
As far as I'm aware, there is not a plan at this point.
So, is no plan? Okay.
Because no one, it's like, well, who's going to pay for the Marriott? Because the Marriott Hotel should really be moved across the street to where the old Islander place is, like with that wooden one that is still is empty. That's really where the Marriott needs to be now.
But what it looks like to me, that somebody is cutting a baler every night and bailing out water because it look like water is going inside some of these places. They got all these things around, so good luck.
So how those walls were built from time the hotels were built, or they were after, or how that go?
I think some of the structures are quite old, but there's also been additions over the years that have increased the amount of concrete that's gone onto the beach, and then there's been more and more new development. And the DOE is, to be fair, they have persistently and constantly said, please don't do this at every single submission.
I know that.
And they've been ignored. So
the director of the environment there, she's been preaching a lot about the environment and stuff like that. But you see, I don't know, you see, greed is a bad thing, and then how using the civil service like that, she can't do too much talking because they'll have her through the door,
exactly. Yeah.
And then you got above her where is the chief officers for the ministry, you know what I mean? But then if they see these things going on, the chief minister or officers, they're supposed to bring this to light, but at the same time they can't really do it neither because they got a knife in their back, so it's difficult for them to come out. And then you don't really have a radio station or anybody to protect them or law to protect them. That the boy, if I'm the director of such and such department and I see something not going on, but I know some bigger heads up there won't get this thing going and won't go over me, they need to make a talk show, especially for those type of people to come on so that they can bring everything to light before these things happen. And that is still going on. And then a lot of times it's our own politicians that we put in there because they agree and they can get something underneath the table. They don't business about what's going on. You understand? So at the end of the day, they say that they're not in, they don't have anything to do with civil servants or nothing to do with the civil service. But when it's something to fit them, there's the biggest bosses in civil service that the civil servants got shut up or not. No, they got to go through the door. So don't talk no foolishness about the politicians. Don't have nothing to do with the civil servants. When they're ready for something to fit them, oh, well, there is a big boss up in there and the big meetings up in there, but they know who to bring it to. The civil servants that will stand up to them, they can't bring that foolishness to, you understand? So that's the reason now. It has caused a lot through the big-time politicians that has destroyed this country and continuously destroying it, act so nice with it, like they want to do something about it and smiling up in the people's face and all the time. They're big inside of what's going on. So they have a lot to be held responsible for, and all these billions and all this what's going on, getting their big time cuts out of it. And the civil servants is always getting the blame for it. And sometimes they join in with them secretly and get their little share too, and they keep quiet so the corruption keep going on and going on and going on and going on. And I don't know, God knows when it got in.
All right, well, perception is part of the challenge, right? Yeah. And we have another caller, but we also have the news break. My friend, I happen to take the call. What are we doing? Going to the break. Stay tuned to talk today.
Okay. What do you mean?
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands government announced today that the national flag displayed at all government buildings will be flown at half-mast today in honor of Mr. Wellesley Howell, who passed away on July 23rd at the age of 106. Mr. Howell was the oldest person in the Cayman Islands, a shoemaker and saxophonist. He was renowned and beloved as a great contributor to the community through his craftsmanship and music. In international news, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been hospitalized after being injured at a protest against a proposed vaccine mandate. Ralph Gonsalves was walking through a crowd outside Parliament when he was reportedly hit in the head by a stone. Images show the Prime Minister bleeding as he was rushed away from the scene. The American SpaceX company has stacked the biggest rocket ever constructed. The vehicle's 2 segments, an upper stage called Starship and a booster called Super Heavy, were connected together at the firm's Starbase R&D facility in Boca Chica, Texas. Standing roughly 400 feet in height, it dwarfs any previous rocket system. American Allison Felix became the most decorated female track and field athlete of all time by taking 400-meter bronze for her 10th Olympic medal. Felix passed the record of Jamaica's Merlene Ottey, who won 9 Olympic medals. Felix has now won 6 golds, 3 silvers, and 1 bronze. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us in the studio. We have Nobi, Shane, Nobi Edwards. We have Miss Wendy Ledger. And a call online, Mr. Q. Let's go to the phones, huh? Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good afternoon.
Dwayne?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing? JR here. My first time calling in, but I would like to say something about over by Hurley's supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing some well drilling there. And I think it's very sad that they cannot even put a sign out to let people know that that is pretty much 100% salt water. That people are driving their cars through.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very disrespectful that these well drillers can't afford to put a sign, have a sign made telling people that this is salt water.
And the water is draining, in general speaking, everywhere in the road, people's properties.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about that is that where they're drilling is at the grave site. That they moved the graves the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right there. I just saw it when I came down. So.
GR? Listen to you, man. Talk to us.
No, I'm saying that I think that's very disrespectful,
Mm-hmm.
because especially younger drivers who might not be aware that the sea is right there. But I mean, that's probably close to 100% salt water.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'd like to mention, and this is, I'm not no expert, but about the loss of the beach. I remember like 40 years ago, or 40 plus years ago, over by an area called Sand Point, past Rum Point.
Right.
There was a guy, I won't call his name, but he put these sand bags or cement bags into the ocean itself.
Uh-huh.
He said to preserve his beach. Well, there was a native person, I think, the only native person maybe who had a piece of property there. We all know him as Sonny Boy.
Mm-hmm.
His sand actually went on Sonny Boy's beach. Sonny Boy's beach exceeded 50 or 60 feet after he put these sand. So I don't know if on the 7 Mile Beach, if they put these sand bags or concrete bags out in the ocean, but I can guarantee you that will cause an erosion because it's proof. I mean, I proved it back 45 years ago.
Mm-hmm. You see that? Well, nature is,
you can't interfere with nature.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's basically all I wanted to say. And mostly was the fact of the salt water on the road. I think there should be a sign telling people that is salt water.
Yeah.
We pay a lot of money to drive on the road, and I think that's the least that these well drillers could do. You all have a wonderful evening. I'm listening to your show, and it's very nice.
Thank you very much for sharing, man. And call as often as you can and want, all right? Have a wonderful weekend, too.
Yeah. Okay, you too.
All right, thanks. Nobi, Miss Wendy. Fox, is there a call in the queue? 2 more. You guys take the calls. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Dwayne.
Wait, what's happening?
Roger, give me no 12. Try teaching today.
Okay, well, we're hearing you, man.
But I happened yesterday to go. I was driving on 7 Mile Beach. I didn't do much because, I'm not working, but I stopped at the Marriott Beach Hotel and I walked out on the back of Marriott and I saw all the beach erosion there. They got one little bit of beach to the south of the Marriott. One little bit. The rest is it's like right to the seawall it's about 3-4 feet deep. And I walked to the north end and I looked at it and they're doing construction behind Regal Beach condos. They're building a seawall there. And they got all these big sandbags up and they got that dug to the rock and they're pouring concrete it's over a foot wide from what I can see right up against the back of Regal Beach. Now definitely their days of having a beach is over with that seawall being put there.
Yep.
And what really caused it, because I go swimming every morning, just about, but I swim down on West Bay Public Beach down here by the ramp. Now, the ramp down here, you can't launch a boat because it's full of sand. Down here's got a wide beach again from, like, by Bogasan Road right down to Alfresco's and down here.
Yep.
A lot of sand. But you see, we've been having a southwest wind for much of this year so far.
Yeah.
And that area will not see no beach now until a northwester season comes in again. So I guess that's what it is. But what basically happened is that we have been building too close to the high water mark from day one.
Yeah.
Because the Marriott, before that was built, that was Radisson. That was Radisson Hotel. And that had a beach, but then from the beach back to the road was all swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was all swamp land. I'm 62 years, almost 62, so I remember these things.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the building on the beaches is what's causing, too close to the high water mark is what's causing, and there's nothing you can do to change it now.
No.
The only thing you can change that is nature. That's basically it. And then the guy was talking about them drilling wells in salt water. Well, I told him some time ago, that we're drilling so many wells in Cayman, plus all these deep foundations of concrete for buildings, that we're sitting in a honeycomb now for the hole. Told me how an earthquake could be back if you were bad. When I told him that on the talk show at Buddhist talk show at Rooster, that earthquake that we had last, I told him that 8:30 and that earthquake happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't feel it. I was driving. I saw people running around, getting cars, stuff came on, going back to the airport, but I didn't feel it. But I was talking about the same thing that morning. I was off 7 Mile Beach, doing the shelf. You know that the wind drops off 10,000 feet. You're looking on the shelf with a stem holding up. The English came here many years ago, I think in the 80s, and an Englishman was on the same Radio Cayman talk show, telling Cayman not to put a lot of weight on 7 Mile Beach because of that shelf, right? Yeah. He warned us, and it's becoming a little bit fearful in my mind because quakes can do a lot of things, you know. But the building is with the concrete is, the building for hurricanes, but
yes, exactly.
There'll be no warning, but it don't seem like it don't stop. I guess what Bob Marley said was through total destruction, the only solution.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how the beach is there at Marriott. I looked at that yesterday, and that's what they're doing behind Regal Beach, building a concrete wall. So they won't see no beach for a long time. You'll jump off the wall into the sea, but not a beach.
Yep.
Anyway, all we can do now is, in the future, stop it. But there's no future left because the beach is already full.
Right. Thanks, man.
Anyway, just pray and hope. That's all we can do.
Yes, that's right. Or we could just ask them to take it down.
Yeah.
I just have one question. It was later. You might want to inject on this. Do you think this would? I know the answer, but you think this would increase the value of property or decrease the value?
Beachfront property, no waterfront.
This is the problem, isn't it? If we're putting all of our focus on development as something for profit, then it becomes a real tangible problem because what we've created as well is we've created a situation where the vast majority of ordinary people in the Cayman Islands can no longer really afford to buy a normal home. People with normal jobs living a normal life,
True.
Almost all property has gone beyond their grasp because of because we have been developing for profit and not building for community, and consequently we're left with this situation of, right, okay, so now we all see what's happening. Who can not see what's happening? And I've spoken, there are a combination of factors that have all come together at once to create what's happened at the bottom end of 7 Mile Beach, the south end. And it's not one thing. There are a catalogue of things. But the main two problems are, on the one hand, excessive coastal development, and on the other, meeting rising sea levels from climate change. And the rising sea level and climate change part, there's nothing we can do about that. Nothing at all. But we can do something about the development. But it's really drastic what we have to do. And the DOE have started saying the words, and they've come up with this great term, which is called managed retreat, which doesn't sound frightening, does it? it doesn't mean, oh, actually, Marriott, can you knock down your hotel and move it back at least a mile? That, which is what really needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. And that's not going to happen. So what we've got to do is find some happy medium in between. And in the long run, will that cause people to eventually be able to profit again? But, you know, there's a whole catalogue of problems along the way, because it's like, who's going to insure these properties? Like, for example, the new condo developments that are going up along the shore, in particular, the Ladies Water something. I don't know which one it is, Watercolours, Waterfall, one of those.
It'll be Waterfall, Waterfront.
Waterfront. It's just going to be water in.
Water
it says water lapping, whatever. But for example, I mean, how much is the insurance going to be now?
Yeah.
In those types of but now obviously it's millionaires and billionaires that are buying them, so they probably don't care, and they probably but there also comes a point where the insurance companies are simply not going to insure.
But does that insurance,
because there's going to be no amount of insurance that's going to prevent the sea coming in your yard, literally in your bathtub, when there's a high tide or a high the idea of, right now we long time since we had a proper storm. Long time since Ivan. And so, you know, people forget. But hey,
I'm very worried too. Living on the coast.
We got a couple of callers online now.
Okay, sorry.
Someone's mentioned about insurance. No, let's go to the phones.
Shut up.
Hey, no, we won't do that. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. And yourself?
Oh man, excellent.
Good afternoon, Miss Wendy and Nobby,
yeah. Nobby, man.
Yeah. I think what Wendy just said there last sums it up.
Mm-hmm.
The beach is gone. We haven't had a storm. Dwayne, I remember when the Marriott built that hotel. It was named something else before.
Radisson.
Mm-hmm. They built a seawall, yes. It was a retaining wall just on the outer side of their swimming pool. They had problems. But the only time that sand eroded was when we had a storm from the north or northwest. It would shift the sand. They basically lost most of their sand. They hired a construction company to build them baffles, I think they were named, some big round thing with holes in it. They put them out there like a sort of a artificial reef. The next seawall was built, Coral Caymanian, and Miss Manny. I think Miss Manny Turner built her house too close to the water. I think that's what it was. She got washed out. Ivan, 2004. I went down there and saw that. Then the next seawall was, I think the one down by Tiki Beach was built before Mr. Dart built the one by Coral Caymanian. I can't recall of any other retaining wall was on that beach that was that close to the water that when the storms came out of the northwest, it actually washed away the sand. I cannot recall. These retaining walls been built over 20 years. Some of them, most of them.
Yep.
We have never had this type of erosion.
Nope.
Now, I want you to answer me a question. I can't remember if it happened, but it was like 2.5 years ago. There were a big discussion. Mr. Dart wanted to move that little piece of iron shore on the point down there by Tiki Beach Restaurant and Bar. Did he move it?
No, actually, what he wanted to do was dig up the beach rock. Which
rock,
is
you call it beach rock?
Yeah, no, because it's not the iron shore. It's like a beach rock.
There's a ledge in the water.
Yeah, there's a
close to a reef, like
it's a point in the water where the sea underground, the seas meet in regular standing water, and so it creates this beach rock, which is very soft and very porous.
It's a ledge close to.
It's effectively a ledge, and it comes and goes, and it's a dynamic kind of.
No, that'll come and go. That thing off Tim's Point. That's
but it will always come
close
back.
to a reef.
You can take it out, but it's going to come back. If they take it out, it'll come back.
It's a ledge.
But he got a coastal works license to do a sampling, and the sampling came back and said, "Oh, if you take this rock out, it'll come back because of the environment. So there's no point." So I think the DOE had given some advice that instead of taking the rock out, why don't you just put a boardwalk or something?
How big was it? Like 50 feet wide by 1,000 feet long?
No.
How big was it?
It's a small.
The little piece of hard.
The collar's right.
They cut off. I don't know.
The collar's right.
The hard shell was about
that's pretty big.
Exactly.
7 to 100 feet long.
Yeah, so close enough to 1,000 feet by 50 feet wide.
I mean, basically, it's a feature and it's pretty and it makes the place look really nice. I mean, it's it's.
I agree, Wendy, but did he move that?
No, he did. All he managed to get a license for was to, because you remember you need a coastal work license, so he managed to get that. But the study, so they took a piece of the rock out, and then the study came back saying, yeah, if you do this, it's just going to come back because it's not. This is a natural formation that results as a result of all of the natural things coming together in that area. So you can do it, but it's going to come back and it's going to cause you problems. So nothing happened. Like
so
that's where it is. But in this new planned area development that's been submitted to planning, there is an indication that he will be wanting to remove it.
Right, but the question is though, and I'm looking at what someone sent me. There was some discussion that they could do core bowl, just do small holes to determine. But instead, they did, a lot of feet wide and a lot of feet long. That creates almost like a channel, right? So why you need to move all that when all you do is core samples? I mean, when you
Dwayne,
yes, sir.
Dwayne, I'm gonna say something.
Go right ahead. So you still plenty things.
My theories on that is that little piece of iron shore was the stabilizer for the 7 Mile Beach sand. Maybe. I don't know how much of it they removed. But
too much.
Like only a small amount. They only removed a sample.
But Wendy, it happened after that. Yeah. Right after that, I went down there, Regal Beach. The water was already up to their seawall. It has never happened like that before. Never. 20 years ago, some of those seawalls been built. It never happened like this. Something happened on that coastline. And the only time I can remember is when they had an excavator down there in that water.
Right. Let me ask you something. What is that saying? Our parents, grandparents told us that they said they were told by their grandparents and grandparents. If you can't hear, you can feel.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That's life.
And I remember I called in the morning and told them not to disturb anything on that point because the current goes sideways. And what happened, that point, something in that area must have stabilize the current that it didn't remove the sand. We all blaming the sand, but the sand don't move till the storm comes.
Yeah, that's right.
On those sea walls, we haven't had a storm here for a long time.
No,
even a little now. West does.
No, we've been losing the credit part of the debit. We're getting plenty debit and not much credit because of, as you say, the storms are not in the South End's favour. But this is, as the technical experts of the DOE have said, these are things, we've had a lot of high tides. There's been a lot of different types of weather that we've had. But as they point out, yes, there are a gazillion factors. Even that sort of, I'm not sure what you call it, a breakwater that's in front of what used to be Treasure Island. People have said maybe that's got things to do with it, and it might have. But as they have said, there are because they've done a lot of work now on 7 Mile Beach, the DOE, and they have a catalogue of things that they say all of this is coming to a fore at the same time as we have allowed runaway coastal development, and that meets rising sea levels. So of the two major factors, we have to contend. We can't do anything about climate change and rising sea level. It's happening to us whether we like it or not. That is a fact of life, and it's getting more it's happening quicker than scientists believed it would happen. So this is something that is going to get increasingly worse year on year, whether it's a half a centimetre here, an inch there, whatever, it's going to get worse. And the only thing that we control is what we build on the beach. We can't control anything else. So that is where our focus has to be.
I agree, Wendy, but I tell you right now, those seawalls,
got to go.
But like 15, 20 years ago, and it's never happened. Now, rising sea level, I don't know if they'd rise that much to went into the beach to wash that sand away. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one. Something changed the movement of the tide along that 7 Mile Beach. One thing you have to remember, that 7 Mile Beach sand was not a part of our ecology. It came out of the sea. It came out of the ocean. Some storm 300-400 years ago brought it up there and packed it up, and it will remove it again. I saw at one point we had a storm here, and it removed the sand right north of the 7 Mile Beach, and I saw a lot of old mangrove limbs, roots, and trees under that sand beach. There's a lot of mangroves under that beach, and the storm, like I said, hundreds of years ago, brought the sand up and packed it there. something stabilize it and let it stay there. You have to realize it's in the wide open ocean. There's no retaining reef. There's no barrier reef to maintain that sand. Something maintain that sand all these years,
right,
and something disturbed it. That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the seawall. They've been there for a long time, and this never happened. Okay?
The seawall's a major...
What we need to figure out, we need a solution.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to either have to build groins, to put groins out in the ocean, in the water.
No, any kind of structure is going to make this situation worse.
Yeah.
No, not if you build them perpendicular. You build groins out with stones, with boulders. I'm sorry, but that's the only thing going to stop the sand from eroding.
Well, hey, thanks much, sir. Thanks much. And we
you all continue. I'll listen to you all and see what solution you got.
All right. Final break. You too, sir.
Bye.
When we come back, more talk today.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Look at you, listening to the radio, tuning in, getting stuff done. Total doer. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're getting your oil changed or grabbing some chicken. Maybe you're doing something that's nobody's business but yours. Hey, that's cool. We're all doing something. Now you can join a whole new community of doers doing more on findyellow.com. With custom search, local experts, and trusted reviews, whatever you're doing, get it done on findyellow.com.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
I want to make an important point for you here. In the end, you can be friendly with your child. That's a beautiful thing, but not at the expense of being their parent. The key is to have a responsible relationship with your child. Responsible adults don't let their children make excuses for failure. They don't badmouth their teachers. That's the type of relationship you need with your child. It's called being a responsible adult. An adult who loves their child at the same time holds their child accountable. It's called effective parenting. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
The New Noka's disappearance in July of 1936 with 20 people on board on a voyage to Tampa. A yet-to-be-solved Cayman maritime mystery. Here, the up-to-date story, 3 p.m. on Radio Cayman Sunday, is being brought to you by Cayman Coating at 96 Portland Road, Airport Industrial Park. Cayman Coating is your one-stop location for all of your paints and coating needs and their application accessories. Cayman Coating. 949-2920.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And really grateful for everybody listening, first-time callers, and repeat, we won't call them offenders, right? We just call them champions. Wendell Aja, Shane Noby, Edwards, couple of calls on a Friday afternoon. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, about time for you to get to me. That last caller, you had him on too long, Ben, and I never solved the problem.
Okay, shall we cut you off soon or give you more time? Which one?
Cut off?
Yeah.
I'm next door to the radio station, my friend. You don't want to do that.
Come on inside the studio, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And
talk to us, man.
Say good afternoon. Good afternoon to my cousin there, and
good afternoon, man. Wendy. We finally get the man to call us in.
Look what I had to do, man.
Yeah.
Friend,
yes, sir.
I have walked that 7 Mile Beach more than any of you that in the studio, or more than anybody that called in. We used to walk it then across the Solomon Dam from Royal Palm straight down to Northwest Point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dan Minstoker Ramon used to walk at 5 o'clock in the morning, every single morning. We even see many turtles nesting during turtle season up to Treasure Island, right there by the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember she had that big thing built out there, that wall?
Mm-hmm.
And then you couldn't go no further there because the water came in.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere on that 7 Mile Beach, Dwayne,
yes,
that
sir.
you have a wall,
the
beach comes to a minimum.
Yeah.
Every single spot. The wall can be here, and the next development, there's no wall, and they got sand straight up to their door. The problem is planning. Apartment gave those people permission to put the wall too close to the surf, what we call the surf.
Yep.
That's the problem. The sea needs to come in, run up the beach, and come back down. If it come in and it hit the wall, it spins and twirls, and it takes the sand out. The problem is the wall. Go down to the Ritz. Go down to Willows of the Galleon. Go down to West End. Go down to the governor's residence. That don't happen there. Pinnacle. Everybody that is built far from the sea that don't have a wall have beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hundreds of feet of beach. The problem is the walls. It proved it with Marriott first. When they put that swimming pool in the back, and then they had to put this wall to protect the swimming pool.
Yep.
And the wall will put too close to the surf. That's the problem. The walls are too close to the surf. It's the problem. Let's lick all the walls down. All the walls got to move. Put your swimming pool on the fifth floor or something. The walls have to come down. That's the only thing they're going to bring the sand back. So, and don't be blaming on no global warming and all that kind of foolishness. Okay?
It's not foolishness.
All right, man.
It's
all
the
right.
wall.
The wall,
walls.
you're
I'm
right,
telling
it's
you,
the walls.
Everywhere on the beach that have a wall close to the surf, the sand go.
Yes.
We can go tomorrow morning and walk. I walk there Saturday morning.
All right.
So let's go down and look at it. Okay?
Okay, boss.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Later.
Later,
Thank
man.
you.
All right. Can we take one more call? Is that the deal?
But
all right. Sorry, Nobby. Final call?
He has a point.
Yeah, man.
He
Welcome.
does. Very good
But
point.
it's important that people understand that climate change is exacerbating the existing problem of the wall. He's
Sorry.
right about the wall.
They might not know what that word means, man. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Welcome. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Afternoon, sir. How are you today, man?
Very good, very good. Rough, regular, poor, so man, still ugly, bud. Welcome. Say a big welcome to your guest here.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last two callers, both, in my opinion, are correct. In that the walls are what are causing all of the problems on 7 Mile Beach. And with Mr. Hill, what he said, you would say to bring it back. I've seen it work in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's what he's talking about is up at Rum Point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So I know that will retain the sand or bring the sand back and retain it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have seen it work.
Mm-hmm.
But the walls are, we call it, but I'll make a little joke out of it. It is that dock that they were putting down that caused the sand to go, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All good. All good.
Anyway, you all have a good weekend.
Enjoy the weekend. All right.
Thank you.
You know what? All right. So you guys have been very gracious with your time. I'm honored that you would take some time.
It's that shiny head.
Yeah, it is.
I couldn't tear my eyes off it.
You see some people charming you.
Yeah.
Beguiling almost. All right, Nobi, let's start with you first. Final thoughts and then Miss Wendy.
Well, basically it is a pleasure to come on air and try to express things. over the years, I remember coming back from university in 1994, working in the Auditor General's office. And once you work in government, you can't say anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for many years, I've been working in government. And I was just, every day at work, I would listen to the talk show, right? Just to get up to date. And it would really frustrate you.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years later? It's 37 years later. We're still getting frustrated. We're still on the radio. And it's really getting to us. I mean, how are we gonna make something happen out of this? And that's what Ms. Ledger was saying earlier. Like, we all got to join together and see that we could try to make a change. But it is going to be tough, especially the way it is right now, and it's going to take money. It seems like, right?
Money.
So this is really a tough situation. But I appreciate you allowing me to come on and say my piece.
And we can give you the last word for the song, but hold on tight, right? Ms. Wendy?
Yeah, he's right. It's either money or draconian action, one or the other.
Yeah.
I don't
draconian
know
action
whether
with money?
Yeah. I'd go with the draconian action, but as it's politicians are navigating a fine line. I think, as I said, we have a chance at the moment with the new government, but their attention is not, whilst it will definitely be a priority to address climate resilience, it's not right now. It's dealing with the immediate problem that's facing everybody in the world, which is how do we navigate our way out of this strange situation that we have. But I am concerned that too many people, all of those callers were right about all the things that they mentioned. They're all elements of the problem on 7 Mile Beach and the problem in general of coastal overdevelopment on the coast. But people have got to stop, thinking that climate change isn't happening, because it's happening very, very much more rapidly than we believed. And this is not just going to affect, for the Cayman Islands, it's very much about sea level rise. It very much is so. But we will be affected by climate change in many, many other ways in the coming years, whether it's food shortages or droughts or whatever that cause those food shortages and, migration around the world. All of these things are going to happen. And we have to think about it. We can't deny it. We can't put our heads in the sand because we don't have any sand left to put our heads in anyway.
That was a good thing to finally expose yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it.
Thank you. No.
But one of the things that I've noticed with climate change is definitely sargassum seaweed.
Yeah,
that's like one of those things where people, you must be able to realize that, because this wasn't around for as long as I know myself. I didn't see it like I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, it's a warming ocean,
and that's one of those global warming issues.
Sometimes if you want to see something, just open your eyes.
But he made a point there as well, which I don't want to hit at any particular department, but he said planning.
Yeah.
So if planning doesn't recognize climate change, it doesn't recognize that the current stipulations that they have for development has to change.
Woefully inadequate.
Right. Something is wrong. So I'm hoping that
we want to see that
somehow or another that will. It has to be some change there.
I think if it's the first thing this government does when it comes to, once it's dealt with the laws it needs to change for the issues around the pandemic, the first law that needs to be addressed is the planning law. And line one is those high water setbacks. I mean, they've got to change completely. They got, and I'm sorry, but there's no more precedent. It doesn't matter. They've got to draw the line and say, yes, but that's it. End of precedent or precedent. I can't remember now. How am I supposed to say it? I'm from Yorkshire. I was born in Yorkshire. We say precedent.
Precedent?
Okay.
In Yorkshire, yeah.
Precedent.
What about you guys?
I say precedent.
Precedent.
Yeah.
But actually, I started earlier and I was reminded, because he's a good guy, Paul Keynes Douglas, said he prefer prefer. So maybe you prefer precedent.
Well, it depends where you put the emphases on things, doesn't
it? So,
Ms. Wendy, thank you, Mom.
Thanks.
No, before you hit the song, right?
Go
ahead, hit the song.
Yeah. Well, we normally select a little song when we come on here, and I think this one is fitting for today, right? Is UB40, Higher Ground.
All right, to all listeners, enjoy Festa and Friends for the KMAS Parade this weekend. If you're photographing stuff, keep me out of the pictures. If you're enjoying the dance, be with Nobi and shout us up. Till Monday, be blessed.